So there's this amazing story in the last chapter of Luke where we're told about these two guys who were walking away from Jerusalem and towards some town called Emmaus. Now, Jerusalem, right? It was the ultimate pilgrimage destination. For many people, it still is. And people traveled there to meet with God. These guys were walking away from there. Oh, slightly important detail. So Jesus has just been raised from the dead, okay? And the text tells us that they were discussing everything that had happened. Now, everything that happened that they're discussing is not the resurrection of Jesus. It's the crucifixion of Jesus. And here's what's important to understand. So everyone in Israel was looking for the Messiah at this point. The Messiah was the person who was going to deliver them and was going to lead them into freedom. And this is really good news when you have Roman boots pressed against your throat. So every now and again, there would be a new person who would pop up who seemed like a likely candidate. Like, this might be the Messiah. But here's the thing. If any would-be Messiah ended up crucified by the Romans, it only ever meant one thing. It meant that they had failed. And this is what they were discussing on the road. The failure of Jesus. But we had hoped, they said, that he was going to be the one to redeem Israel. Hoped. Past tense. They put their hope in Jesus, and he let them down. Jesus failed them. What's amazing then is who decided to join their conversation about the failure of Jesus. Jesus joins their conversation about his apparent failure. And here's where things get really interesting. So we're told that these two men were kept from recognizing Jesus. So the obvious question then is, who kept them from recognizing Jesus? And the answer is pretty shocking, right? God did. God kept them from recognizing God. So Frederick Buechner said something really interesting. He said, perhaps even when he was alive, they never recognized him. Had seen him not as he actually was, but only as they wanted him to be. A hero who would give them a lot of easy answers to all of life's hardest questions. And so there are a lot of ways, I think, that we can journey away from God. We all have an Emmaus, right? This place that we go to when we feel like God has failed us, a place to forget about God. And for a lot of people, that place is the university. But one thing that this text shows us is that Jesus secretly walks with people, even when, maybe even especially when, they're trying to walk away from him. Where can I go from your spirit? Or where can I flee from your presence, said the psalmist. And so while these two men keep talking about Jesus' failure, it's awesome that Jesus didn't run and hide. No. So like Jesus engages their struggle, and then he begins to ask them questions. Tell me what happened. Start from the beginning. Don't leave anything out. What happened? What went wrong along the way? What things? Well, at the end of the story, their eyes are finally opened and they recognize Jesus. But here's the thing. If they had not been kept from recognizing Jesus, they would have only ever seen him like they saw him before. But because Jesus kept himself hidden from them for a time, when they finally caught a glimpse of him, they saw him with fresh eyes. They knew him now at this deeper level, in this deeper revelation. Sometimes I'm nervous that when our young adults walk through these seasons of doubt on their road to Emmaus, we, because of fear, we keep trying to pull them back somehow to how they saw Jesus before. What if, while we're trying to pull them back, Jesus is trying to pull them forward so that they can see him clearer than ever and have their hearts burn within them as he speaks to them? And I get it, right? Emmaus can be a scary place, especially when it's your kids that are walking on it. But it can also be one of our greatest paths to transformation because Jesus walks there too.